Leverage. What's your leverage? If you've been to an Anthony Robbins seminar, he talks about creating leverage, that if I have enough leverage, I can move the world. And so if I don't have any leverage with somebody, so just going back to those nurses for an example, if they don't care about their weight, they're not concerned, they don't think chiropractic has any value, they don't feel like they've got any health problems, I've got no leverage. They're not interested in what I have to say, nor concerned about their life outcomes if they don't apply what I'm talking about here. So I need some sort of leverage. So one example, and some people call this scare tactics, but if it's done with compassion, it's really not. Um, I don't like people that are worried about scare tactics simply because it's generally an excuse more than anything not to confront people. Because as a doctor or a leader of any kind, or somebody who's been put in front of somebody to communicate, you've got to have leverage. You've got to push them in a direction. We're not in the bone moving business. We're in the people moving business. We got to move them. And so you need some sort of leverage that's out of truth and compassion. There's this saying that I don't mind if a pastor is preaching fire and brimstone and talking about burning in hell, as long as he does it with a tear in his eye, as long as it's because his heart is broken, because he doesn't want to see me perish for all eternity, but wants to bring me, because he loves me, bring me to eternal life. That sort of person, no matter how much fire and brimstone they preach, it's going to come across well, and I'm going to appreciate it. I've seen the other side of that, where it just seems to be some sort of tool to scare me and leverage me, and it just turns me off. So is our scare tactics a potential thing and an issue? Yes. When you see a degenerative x-ray, you shouldn't be excited that you've got leverage to close them. Your heart should be broken. But yet that is the leverage. They now see they are degenerating, and that's what's going to move them. As an example, getting back to the nurses, so coming from a family of people again, and I'll share my own personal story with them as a part of connecting and leveraging. My family died early. So, everybody, I never, my kids never met my dad. I never met my parents' dad. I mean, everybody was dying early. So I'm going to talk about that. That the reason I'm here is because the people I love, the people they love died early. The people I love died early. Like, I want to stop people from dying early. Ruined my life to have my dad die at 52 and my mom have a stroke in her 40s and her life was destroyed forever. Like, that's ruined me to this day. And so that's the leverage, is I don't want that to happen to them. And so bottom line is, for people who aren't necessarily worried about nutrition or struggling with it, there's still this reality that if we don't get it under control, this is where it leads. Everything increases in terms of risk when we're over an ideal weight. So again, I don't want to insult anybody or make anybody feel guilty or like I'm looking down on them from being overweight. It's coming out of compassion and I care about them, but that's the leverage. If you don't do something, breast cancer risks go up 60%, heart disease risks go through the roof. Every disease, the risk is radically increased by being overweight. And so that we've got to do something. And so, that is my leverage. When I'm talking to groups, for example, we'll do like a talk to like an assisted living facility. Well, I know they want to be independent. And I know that if they go to a nursing home, the costs go up dramatically in a nursing home. So we're trying to keep them there where there's less cost. They can be independent and still live a life versus being in a wheelchair, pushed down a hallway and staring at the elevator as their activity for the day. We're trying to avoid that and losing their ability to drive and everything else. So if I'm talking to an older group, I'm trying to either keep them out of the assisted living or keep them out of the assisted living or keep them in the assisted living and out of the nursing home. That's my leverage again, both in terms of the cost of that. These things are incredibly expensive and all out of pocket, but also losing your independence and the fact that, that's no way to live. Speaking by mom, that's how her life ended. And it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars and it was no way to live. So that's the leverage.